Exmouth or eczema? Yes, I'm sorry. There's been sort of a few distractions about podcasts, so I have one that needs to go up, and then this one. Well, maybe I'll put this one on and the other one up from yesterday, where I painted. Actually, no, that's from a couple of days ago. Actually, yeah, I haven't podcasted for a couple of days. The reason why I say eczema is that I got sunburnt during the mini heat wave, the second one, and then it kind of went away during the wet sort of dyke period, and then it's back again with the warm weather. And there's a few problems with that, because one, I do have a cream which the people here gave me, which is a gentle version of what I take at home. I have these big pump bottles for my eczema, and with everything else, I mean, basically I have a whole bag of medicine type stuff, and toothpaste and whatever. And I did think, should I bring the creams and the steroidal creams, and I didn't, because it's just like, well, I'll take antihistamines, which does work, but that stopped working the last couple of days. I tried both types, cetrazine and loratadine, and it stopped working. And so I'm actually thinking of going home. So it's the 19th day. I made it past the bank holiday. It's now the Tuesday, and I think it's good to head back. It's so annoying because I'm like 16 miles from the goal of finishing the whole thing, but also bad weather's coming in next weekend, Friday, Saturday. So in a few days it's going to start raining, and that looks like a bad week, like rain. So I'm 50-50 about when I pack up, I'll go on somewhere else. But I think the eczema thing is the thing that's kind of deciding me to go back, because I was always planning to probably go back around this time, and then I was like, oh no, I'll continue, and then the eczema hit, and even though I've got a t-shirt over it and I protect it from the sun, it is very, very difficult to control it, because the problem is, in camping you generally have to wear clothes all the time, because you're wearing clothes at night which rub against it, and it doesn't like polyester. But of course, because I've tried the travelling with cotton, and the problem is, as soon as you wear cotton, I have cotton mix on at the moment, but against it when I'm protecting it. But yeah, if you have cotton t-shirts, they get wet and they stay wet. That's always kind of a trade-off between, my eczema hates synthetics, but wet cotton against it is even worse. So it's kind of that, and of course I have to wear, because it's colder now at night, I have to wear a lot of sort of things in the sleeping bag, because sleeping bag's crap. So that's kind of a reason to not go on, because even covering it with a t-shirt when I'm out and putting factor 50 on, as I have been, even when I got burnt, I had factor 50 on it, because it's always been a problem with my neck. It still got really, you could feel it sort of being very rough and very, very painful, and it's never really totally gone away. It sort of went away, got better when it was horrible, it was horrible weather, but it wasn't so sunny. And now it's kind of come back with a vengeance, and the antihistamines have stopped working, and I don't have my steroidal cream with me, and I don't have the dermol either. And so other things kind of help, but I'm like, if it's going to get worse, it's a really bad idea to keep going. So yeah, that and the weather means that I'm thinking of I'm definitely backing up today, but I'm thinking of heading back, which is a bit sad. As I say, I've only got about 16 miles of the coast to go, and there's a little bit off in Kimmeridge, where it's about 5 miles up in Kimmeridge, and then I've done the whole of the Jurassic coast. But maybe come back in late September and do a little sort of quick thing if the weather's all right. But certainly it looks like this sort of wet weather front is coming in on in a few days, and so I couldn't get it finished. I need a good week, I think, to a good 4, 5, 6 days of decent weather to do that, especially if I'm moving, because the problem is there is buses that run along the coast, so I could kind of do some of it, If we're moving along the coast, I probably might have to move a few times, because it's easier. Although the bus service looks really good. There's a bus service to Exmouth stagecoach, which runs quite late to Budleigh Salterton, and then it sort of ends early going through to Seaton. So that's a good sort of interlink, or Sidmouth. No, Sidmouth. It goes Sidmouth, and that's a good interlink for that area. And so, that's good. I mean, there's the option of going to Sidmouth, and then though there doesn't seem to be a campsite around Sidmouth I can find, but there are campsites near Exmouth, and there's one near King Regis, looks really good. There's one look really good at Hardy Park, right, very much like Durdle Door next to a cliffs, but it doesn't seem to have. Weirdly, it seems like it's booked out, which doesn't make sense for just after the bank holiday, but maybe they are. But it doesn't like they've got availability, but it might just be their system, because their systems are always shit. So yeah, I don't know. I think given that I've only got is it today, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 days of good weather, I think it's probably a good time to go back, even though I don't want to, because of the eczema, and because I'm only going to have 3 days, and then it's going to have to end anyway on the Saturday or Friday because of the wet weather front coming in, and it looks like it'll stay like that for a while, for a week or so, or two. So the weather's going to break. So yeah, I feel bad kind of ending it. I feel bad sort of ending the whole thing. I feel bad sort of finishing, but I wasn't intending to do it all in one thing. If I did, I would have started earlier. But so Jaunt 4 is not impossible, or even Jaunt 4 or 5, mini jaunts. They will, if I do, I will podcast those as well and document them as well. But it would be nice to do something this year, and then I've got bigger plans for next year, with maybe going abroad, France. I was speaking to a French couple here, and she said, you should come and camp in Normandy. There's campsites early spring, summer. Apparently, it's better May, June, or around elsewhere, but kind of do it for a longer time. But yeah, I mean, like I've been doing, hardly any nice meals. It gets a bit boring eating sandwiches all the time, I have to say. But yeah, it is. That would be quite good. And I also got other plans as well regarding the plein air stuff, because it's interesting just talking to that woman, an ace, and hello if you're listening. It just was a few things of actually, just I was advising her to go and find organisations and people to work with, and I was like, well, why don't I do that? Or why don't I start that? Because I don't think in this country it's so rare to see people out doing what I do. It is really unusual. That's why people comment on it. And, a few places, you get lots of people drawing, and quite a lot of urban sketches. But everywhere else, not really. So, yeah, I'm starting thinking of there probably is a plein air society, but, something like that. And then organise events where we go out and do things, and try and build up a bunch of people who are going out and painting and drawing. Because I think this kind of seems to have fallen out of favour in this country, and other countries like France it happens a lot more, whereas here it's just a rarity, and that needs to change. And that would be quite interesting to try and start something like that, and and have promote that, because if there is a plein air society, they're not doing their jobs, because they're probably driving everywhere in cars. We're doing oil paints in their studio, which is what a lot of people do. They do they'll go along, do a sketch, and they'll do an oil painting in the studio. That's not plein air painting. Plein air painting, you paint it there and then. It's very. I don't want to be very didactic about it, but it is. But anyway. But yeah, I think it's probably time to go home. So, as much as I'm tempted by those 3 days, It's more the fact that, or the faff of moving somewhere else, and then actually a few days later it's going to get shitty weather anyway. And my neck, my back. I'll stop that. Stop that singing right there to keep. Not that this podcast is PG, but yeah, it doesn't really apply. But anyway, so yeah, I think I'm going to head back. Luckily, it's very easy to get out of here. It won't be easy to pack up everything, but it's very easy to get out of here. It's just a short bus ride to Axminster, and then I can get, I'll get a ticket to Axminster to Weymouth area, and then I can literally just ride on that all the way to Woking, and so there's a direct connection to London Waterloo from Axminster. So that makes it very easy to get back here to Cannington, and around here. So I think this is going to be a good base for Jaunt 4 or 5. For future jaunts around here, and sort of finishing that bit, and then we can hop down the coast using the AVMT buses, as long as I don't come down here on a weekend or stay here for a weekend, and then obviously Sundays they don't run. But it's been a really good time, and it's weird to think 19 days. It feels like it's been a few weeks. It doesn't feel like almost 3 weeks. That's what it's been. And certainly around here, I've been kind of just jilling around. Yesterday, heat fatigue hit me like a truck. I went to Axminster to pick up some antihistamines and see what they had, and some food, which is ironically because I'm going to have some of it now, but a lot of it I'm going to have to trek back home. It's fine, it's stuff I like, but we'll see how much I can take, and I might have to jettison some stuff. And then I was falling asleep on the bus coming back, and I think it was just the fact that I've been woken up constantly in the night by my eczema. And then, I fell asleep on a bench walking down the River Lyme, which is a really nice walk from Upper Lyme to Upper Arms. There's a path going all the way down, river walking. It's quite cool. That was good. Then I went and had a coffee because I have to try and wake up, and then I did some work on the shore of the waves coming in, and just sat on the near the undercliff area. There's lots of rocks, and the rocks are uncovered because the tide was coming in. So it's like a King Canute thing, and one of the pieces is called King Canute. As I was literally washing, I was backing off as I was painting it. So there's a few pieces there, a few final pieces, which I need to take pictures of. I did take pictures of yesterday on the rocks. And yeah, it's quite funny because when I was doing it, there was these kids having meltdowns saying, "I want to find one more crab," because they were crabbing, and they were allowed to find 4 crabs or catch 4 crabs, and they were one more. And it was weird because they were literally standing right by me on the rock promontory, and it was just like, I'm trying to paint here, and I was worried about getting, my stuff getting knocked over by dogs and kids and stuff, so it was a little bit chaotic. Someone actually put their camera on a tripod when the waves were crashing in, and then went and stood. It was obviously doing a selfie or doing a long exposure, but it was just like, that's a bit dangerous, because one of those little ones, I think it was their phone or a small camera, and I was like, yes, that's a good way to lose your camera or phone. Anyway, I think this is probably going to be the last one for Jaunt 3. I might do a quick one on the way back, but yeah. And I think the artwork will probably be one of those paintings. I think probably obviously King Canute, because it's about the tide coming in and time changing. But I'll speak to you soon.